For millions and millions of years, humans were, well, we were pretty insignificant. We were just another animal, kind of minding our own business in a corner of Africa, not really a threat to anybody. So, how in the world did we go from that to landing on the moon, splitting the atom, and, let's be honest, completely changing the face of the planet? That's the big mystery we're going to unpack.
And this image, it gets right to the heart of our ancient psychology. See, for most of our history, we were not the top dogs. We weren't the apex predators. We were somewhere in the middle of the food chain, scavenging leftovers from lions, hiding from hyenas. And that long, long time we spent as the underdogs, it filled us with these deep-seated fears and anxieties that, as the book points out, kind of still haunt us today. Which brings us right to the big question. If we were these anxious, mid-tier creatures for so long, what changed? How did this one particular ape, Homo sapiens, manage to climb all the way to the top and basically take over the entire world? Okay, so the first clue in solving this mystery, it's actually kind of a shock to our modern way of thinking. Because for a very long time, we weren't the only humans out there. Not by a long shot.
That's right. Just try to imagine a world where it wasn't just us, but several different kinds of humans walking around. Over here, you've got Neanderthals, who were super well adapted to the cold of Europe. And on the other side, our own ancestors, Sapiens, who came out of Africa. For thousands of years, we were all part of this surprisingly diverse human family. But then, something strange started to happen. As sapiens began to move out of Africa and spread across the globe, a really disturbing pattern starts to show up on the map. Pretty much wherever we arrived, the other human species disappeared. Neanderthals vanished from Europe. Homo erectus disappeared from Asia. Was this all just a massive coincidence? Or was something else going on? So what gave us the edge? I mean, an obvious answer is technology. And our first piece of truly world-changing tech was fire. Taming fire was a total game changer. I mean, think about it. Suddenly, we have light and warmth whenever we want it, a deadly weapon to keep predators away, and a way to cook our food. Cooking made it way easier to digest and unlocked a ton more nutrients. See, an eagle has its wings, a lion has its teeth, but fire gave us a power that wasn't limited by our own bodies. It was a huge, huge step up. But here's the twist. It wasn't the final answer. We know now that other human species, like the Neanderthals, they controlled fire too. So while it was a massive advantage for humans in general, it doesn't really explain why sapiens, specifically, won the survival race. There had to be something else. And not something else? Well, it turns out to be our real secret weapon. And it's not found in our tools or in our muscles. It's all in our minds. So, around 70,000 years ago, something just clicked. Historians call it the cognitive revolution. It was basically a rewiring of the sapiens' brain that gave us this incredible new kind of language. We could still do what other animals do, like shout, "Hey, watch out, there's a lion!" But now we could also talk about things that weren't real. We could talk about spirits, about tribal ancestors, about things that might happen in the future. We learned how to create fiction. Okay, but why is making stuff up so powerful? Well, here's the key. It allows for cooperation on a massive, massive scale. You simply cannot get 100,000 chimpanzees to work together on a project. But you can get 100,000 humans to build a pyramid or fight in an army if they all believe in the same story. A story about a god or a nation or human rights. And this power has shaped literally all of human history. It doesn't matter if it's the guardian spirit of a tribe, the gods of an ancient city, the one true faith of a medieval church, or the laws of a modern state. These are all fictions. They are stories we agree to believe in together, and that collective belief makes them powerful forces that shape our entire world. The graphic novel even gives this superpower a name, and I love it. Dr. Fiction. This character is the secret hero, or maybe the secret villain behind everything. I mean, how do you get thousands of people who've never meant to work for the same company? Easy. They all believe in the story of the company. How does money work? It's just paper, right? It works because we all agree to believe in the story that it has value. It's all thanks to good old Dr. Fiction.
So this ability to create shared stories just fundamentally changes how our societies work. For most animals, their social behavior is basically hardwired. It's determined by their genes. Their social order is rigid, it's baked right into their DNA. But for us sapiens, our social order is based on the stories we tell. And that makes it incredibly flexible. Because if we can change the story, we can change our entire reality, sometimes almost overnight. The difference here is just staggering. Chimpanzees can't just call a meeting and vote to get rid of the alpha male system and create some kind of chimp democracy. But now look at this timeline for Berlin. A person born there in 1910 could have lived through five completely different political systems: an empire, a republic, a Nazi dictatorship, a communist state, and finally a unified democracy. Her DNA never changed, but the stories she lived inside of, they changed completely. That right there is the power of fiction. But this incredible superpower, this ability to cooperate and totally reshape our reality, it also came with a very, very dark side. Our rapid climb to the top of the food chain had absolutely devastating consequences for everyone else. The book uses a pretty shocking term for us: intercontinental serial killers. And there's a reason for that, because if you look at it from the perspective of the planet's other large animals, that's exactly what we became. And the evidence for this is it's stark. Before humans got to Australia about 50,000 years ago, the place was filled with these incredible giant animals. We're talking 2-meter-tall kangaroos and marsupial lions the size of tigers. Within just a few thousand years of us showing up, nearly all of them were gone. And that same exact pattern repeated itself in North and South America. Our success was a catastrophe for the global ecosystem. So, that's our story. We went from being a nobody on the savannah to the master of the entire planet, all thanks to our unique ability to create and believe in fictions. We use that power to outcompete every other human and dominate the animal kingdom. And that leaves us with a final and absolutely crucial question. Now that we're here, with the power to literally reshape life itself, what do we want to become? And maybe even more importantly, what do we want to want?